What's up everybody? I hope you're doing well, and this video is so long overdue because season 2 of Never Have I Ever came out a year ago, but I was busy with a newborn at that time and so I wasn't able to film a reaction video, but I found out recently that season 3 is just about to release in August of this year, and so it seemed like a good time to watch season 2 and react to it. Previously, I filmed a reaction video to season 1 of Never Have I Ever, particularly to the therapist, Dr. Jamie Ryan, who's played by Niecy Nash. She did a fabulous job. I thought the show as a whole was fabulous. This video today is going to be a reaction to the therapist as portrayed in season 2 of Never Have I Ever. I am sure there will be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want it to be spoiled, go watch the season and then come back and watch me react to the therapist. To catch things up, at the beginning of season 2, Devi finds herself in the seemingly unlikely situation of having 2 love interests, and early in episode 1 she comes to the conclusion that she's going to try to date both of them at the same time without letting the other one know about it. She's also found out that she's going to need to move to India, and so at the beginning of episode 2, Dr. Jamie Ryan makes her first appearance for this season, and that's where we're going to pick up from. I have not watched this yet, so we are going to get the real-time live reaction.
Davy, what are you doing here?
Hey, Doc. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for the way I acted the last time I saw you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Apology accepted.
But this is also goodbye, because I'm all better now. So here's some C's. Thanks for everything.
Nuh-uh. Sit.
Oh, this feels like such classic Devi. Like, but I'm all better, and it's also goodbye. Here's some chocolate. Peace out. Yeah, Dr. Ryan is calling her out on it. Though, here's Dr. Ryan. She's just apparently chilling in her office, just sitting, which, you know, to each their own. From time to time, that might be me. But to have a client just come in, it's a bigger fiasco than just like, oh, what you doing here? It's good to see you. I wish I was as gracious as Dr. Ryan and just being able to say, hey, I'm free, come on in. Some might say it's a poor boundary though. Let's see what happens though.
That's why I have 2 boyfriends.
What? Do both these boys know they're in open relationships? Don't lie.
Not exactly.
I worry that the stress of this move is causing you to make some questionable decisions. I mean, do you even like both these boys?
I really like them.
Then if you care about them, why would you do something that could hurt them? Real relationships are built on honesty and trust, Davy. And I know you think you got 2 boyfriends, but by those standards, girl, I think you got 0.
Whoo! Dr. Ryan is calling Devi out. It is a little bit of that kind of mom therapy, like, this is not working, let me explain why. Everything she said is probably correct. Is any of that something I would do in counseling, particularly when somebody shows up by surprise outside of their appointment time? And I think as far as we know, Devi kind of like quit therapy in the middle of the last season. So she hasn't seen Devi supposedly in a while. And to just kind of hop straight into like giving advice when they haven't rebuilt that trust is unrealistic. But if this were a real life situation and maybe a proper therapy session and I was taking the time to sit down with Devi, I'd really want to just approach her with more curiosity, like, oh, that's really interesting. So you're seeing 2 people at once? How did you come to that? How does that feel? What's that like? And it might sound a little bit more like, I imagine that must be really hard to keep that a secret from the other one. How are you doing that? How does that feel? Just a lot of like, tell me about this kind of questions would be at least more my approach in this kind of situation. And then, most likely, her responses will still reveal the same insight that Dr. Ryan kind of jumped to here. Okay, we don't see Dr. Ryan again until episode 5. At this point, surprise, surprise, Devi has wreaked havoc on her life. Meanwhile, there's a new transfer student. Her name is Anissa, and she is the only other Indian American student now in the school, and she seems to be flirting with one of Devi's love interests. So this is the context where we now get to see Dr. Ryan again. Let's see what happens.
Then she did a crazy Beyonce hair flip, and she didn't even shower him with dandruff.
Davy, you're holding that pen like a knife again.
Oh, yeah, might be. It's just Does she not know girl code? You don't flirt with your friend's ex.
So you still have feelings for Ben?
I should have picked Ben in the first place. He was all in. I got greedy, Doc. And now my hands are covered in the crumbs of my failed relationship.
Oh, hell, Davy. I am so glad to have you back, but I'm gonna need time and a half for these sessions.
There is some context where a joke like that could be appropriate with clients, but generally, like 99% of the time, that wouldn't be appropriate for a therapist to say, oh, I'm gonna need time and a half for our sessions. It's a lot that's happening though. Devi has a way of just kind of throwing everything onto this therapist, and the therapist is just like, whoa, what did you expect?
I know I really hurt Ben, but deep down, I still think there's hope for us.
Well, I thought you said that he would never forgive you.
Yeah, but full-blown hatred is kind of a comfortable place for us. We've done that 180 before.
Davy, regardless of what happens between you and Ben, I think we need to work on your approach to stress.
Okay. What are we thinking? Meditation? Candles? Ooh, could you prescribe me weed? Or is that, like, only for real doctors?
Watch it.
I'm noticing Dr. Ryan doing a similar strategy as in the first season, where she's trying to pivot Devi from talking about whatever she's talking about, in this case, again, boys, to talk about what is, the real underlying problem. Often as therapists, we know when somebody is complaining about something that it's really about something else, but generally just calling someone out and saying, hey, instead of talking about this, can we talk about this other thing that I think you really need help with? Most of the time, most people get pretty defensive about it. Most therapists understand that if you follow the client's lead on whatever topic they're leading with, somewhere within there, the real problem is just under the surface. You can follow that topic and still arrive at the same destination, rather than saying, hey, we're gonna pivot topics.
Right? I'm thinking something more simple. Like when you feel that surge of anger coming up, stop. Take a deep breath and listen to some soothing music or anything that'll bring you peace.
I think weed would be more effective.
No.
So again, very direct advice. Devi didn't ask for this kind of advice, and Dr. Ryan isn't quite focusing on the topic that Devi really wants to talk about. The next time we see Dr. Ryan is in episode 7. The latest sort of escapade is related to that transfer student, the fellow Indian American Anissa, where Devi has basically started this rumor that she has some sort of eating disorder. That rumor has spread, and now Devi got caught for starting the rumor. Just moments before this scene with Dr. Ryan, one of her exes, Ben, is basically telling her, hey, you completely have caused disruption in Anissa's life. You gotta do something about it.
So then he just burst into my house and bitched me out in front of my entire family, including my old-ass grandma.
Well, what you did was pretty messed up.
What? You're gonna dunk on me too? You're supposed to be on my side, Doc.
There are so many opportunities for Dr. Ryan here to be that, confidant for Devi to say, he just came barging in. What was that like? And in front of your grandma too? Just that trust building piece. We don't see enough of it. And yes, sometimes we can eventually get to that place with a client after we worked with them for a while, where we can kind of jump to the real talk and say, hey, but let's circle back to what's really happening here. And there's enough trust that our client can say, ooh, yeah, I think you're right. But we are nowhere near that. I mean, here Devi is just being defensive, like, whoa, are you with them too? Are you dunking on me too? Again, she might just be feeling totally alone, which I remember was happening quite a bit in season 1 as well, including with her therapist.
I am on your side, but that means being honest with you and dunking on you when it's appropriate. So, Ben's still mad at you, huh?
Big mad. He's angry about so much at this point, I don't think I'll ever be able to win him back. And it sucks because I know he's right about all of it too.
Do you feel guilty about what you did to Anissa?
Nadoy, Anissa's dope, and I basically curb-stomped our friendship.
Okay, well, we kind of did things a little out of order, but Dr. Ryan, I think she maybe let her feelings get the best of her and come out with guns a-blazing at the beginning with maybe not the most trust-building response, and then she actually offers some questions, again, that curiosity, I wonder, do you feel guilty about this? Or, oh, yeah, so he's still mad at you, huh? That's just There's a camaraderie to it, a trust like, oh, I see you. That looks hard. Tell me about it. I want to know more. That Dr. Ryan is kind of hitting the nail on the head more so now with.
If I don't get her to stay at Sherman Oaks, Ben will hate me forever too.
Davy, I think for your own good, you should find a way to apologize to Anissa. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And it'll give you what you most desperately want.
What's that? Ben?
What? No. Peace. Inner peace and moral clarity.
But also Ben, right?
Davy, we don't apologize to get something in return.
For sure, for sure. I am obviously apologizing because I feel horrible about what I did to Anissa, and I want her to be my friend again. But if I also got Ben, that wouldn't be so bad, right?
And our time here is up, and I have failed once again.
No. One thing I really love about Davy's character, which is uncharacteristic for most clients, especially teenage clients, is she just wears her heart on her sleeve. So to be able to say, like, I am apologizing because I feel so bad, but also I get something out of it that I really want. So many of us, whether we're consciously aware of the thing that we're actually after, and sometimes we're actually not consciously aware of it, we'll just say like, oh yeah, doc, I'm gonna apologize because I feel bad. And then kind of we have these other motives that maybe are not even yet identified, or we just kind of keep it to ourselves because we feel ashamed that that's a motive that's even there. And Devi just kind of has no shame about it, and I love that. She's like, yeah, I also kind of want to get Ben back. Yeah. Good call, Doc. The next time we see Dr. Ryan again is in episode 9. It seems like she's just kind of sprinkled in every couple episodes or so. Since we left off, Devi patched things up with Anissa, and Anissa is now with Davy's ex, Ben. So she didn't get that thing that she was trying to get. She's also found out that her mom is like flirting with this other dude. So let's see what happens when she meets with Dr. Ryan.
So, what's going on, Davy?
I'm okay.
Davy. Tell me what's upsetting you.
Do you think I'm crazy?
Of course not.
I think I might be. Everyone at school calls me Crazy Davy. And now my mom thinks I am after I stalked her because I was paranoid she was dating her work friend and climbing onto that man's roof and spying on them through the skylight.
That's a lot. But you're not crazy. You're just hurting, and you might even be a little depressed, and that's okay because I can help you through it. You had a big loss, and the hurt that comes from that can come out in surprising ways.
Like my paralysis?
Exactly.
I know I didn't want to talk about it before, but why did that happen?
Whoa, this is a big deal. We are like at the end of season 2, and Devi is finally directly talking about her grief, which has been largely unaddressed all through the first 2 seasons. Something's come up for her character here where seeing her mom be interested in somebody else is finally letting her feel ready to ask this question, like, what happened? What was that? It's a wonderful opportunity for Dr. Ryan. Let's see what she does.
If I'm not crazy, how did I paralyze myself?
Davy, in our field, it's what we call psychosomatic weakness. It happens after you experience a traumatizing event. Like seeing your father die right in front of you. But it doesn't mean you're crazy. Look at me. It means you're human. Davy, you feel a lot. Which means sometimes you're gonna hurt a lot. But it also means that you're gonna live a life that is emotionally rich and really beautiful.
Thanks, Dr. Ryan.
You're welcome.
Dr. Ryan, I love that. And I feel like there's something that happens too as you see Dr. Ryan have this moment with Devi, that I can just imagine all the different folks watching this show who also need their own Dr. Ryan to kind of say that to them and receive that. Like, you're not crazy. You're human. And I love how Dr. Ryan didn't just negate the negative. So it's not just you're not crazy and you're human, but actually this paralysis you experienced reflects a special gift that you have, that you can feel so deeply that yes, when something hits you hard, it hits you hard, but it also means you have the potential to live this really full, joy-filled life, and that is a wonderful gift. I'm thinking of all the folks watching this show who need to hear that, and I know sometimes I need that reminder, so I love that, and good therapy work, Dr. Ryan. Well, that concludes all of Dr. Ryan's appearances in season 2 of Never Have I Ever. I'm not going to tell you what happens in the rest of the season. You can, of course, go ahead and watch it. It's available on Netflix. I so enjoyed watching this season, and it's really lovely to see all the twists and turns that Devi goes through, and also the twists and turns that Devi and Dr. Ryan have together in therapy. I remember this was true in season 1 as well, but there are some aspects of Devi and Dr. Ryan's interactions that just aren't very believable, both because sometimes Dr. Ryan isn't very therapist-y and a little bit more mommy in the way that she interacts with Devi, but also how quickly Devi is to agree to Dr. Ryan's advice, even if she's like defensive about it or she's not really bought in, like, okay, I'll try it, or how quickly she might say, like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, that usually takes way more trust building to get there. I also get that this is a fictional TV show and we're just seeing these little windows into what's supposed to be, you know, like a 45-50 minute therapy session. I will say though, that closing piece with Dr. Ryan was just so lovely to see, and her ability to just validate that it's not just normal what Devi's going through, but there's actually something really beautiful about her. And I think that that's so much of the gift of what we get to offer as therapists, that what somebody experiences as a problem, oftentimes underneath the mess of it has some really beautiful treasure, lovely gift or skill or something like that inside of it. And I see it as part of our role to go digging and find it when the person that we're working with may not always have the energy or capacity to see it or find it themselves. Well, I so enjoyed watching the second season of Never Have I Ever and getting to do it with you for the first time, and season 3 is coming out very soon, so make sure you catch that on Netflix as well when it releases. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes has an all-encompassing practice management system. They can cover all of your needs from scheduling to notes to billing. They have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform. They have a portal where your clients can go ahead and fill out all of their paperwork virtually and securely. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming along this journey with me. I sure enjoyed watching. I think Niecy Nash did a fabulous job playing Dr. Jamie Ryan. She's just this wonderful, comedic, but also compassionate character at the same time, which is just lovely to see. And until next time, from one therapist to whomever you might be, I wish you well.